Welcome to the 2350 Effect.
Yes, it does start. The 2350 Effect is live. We welcome you Sunday. I'm Damian Kinsey, the co-host, collaborator of the 2350 Effect, the upcoming virtual wellness experience, which starts this month on the 20th and 21st, the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit, which is in October, and I'm always joined by, and also the 2350 Network, and joined by my co-host, collaborator, partner, Dr. Tanya Farron. Dr. Farron, introduce yourself and tell them a little bit more about you.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Happy Sunday to you, whether you are starting your week with us or you feel like you're ending your week with us. We're happy that you joined us for the 2350 Effect. I'm Tanya Farron. I've been in education for 3 decades now. I don't know. Does that sound better? 3 decades or 30 years? One of the two. I kind of like the decades. It's kind of fun. But been in the business for that amount of time. This is going on year 6 of owning creative living ideas. And, this is a great topic for us to talk about how to manage the stress of starting a business. I personally have owned 4 different businesses, currently own 2 businesses on the side, as well as have a full-time job. So it's a great conversation for us to have. I'm the author of 9 different books, including Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, a Parent's Manual. And then I host this great event with Damian every Sunday evening. Love doing this and collaborating with him, as well as collaborating on special projects like the Virtual Wellness Experience that is coming up in just a few weeks, and the Work-Life Balance Summit that is in the fall, as well as co-collaborating and co-hosting on the 2350 Network. So we've got lots to tell you about tonight. We're happy that you're with us. So make sure that in the audience, you are dropping in your comments, that you are, sharing out the things that you are, learning or know about or would like to know more about. And we're excited you're with us. So thanks, John, for being with us. Yulinda, thank you for also joining us. Kenneth, Charlie, and Nicole, thank you for being here today. Great to see everyone.
Yes, it's definitely great to see everyone. Continue to put those comments in the chat. Jackie, Rhonda, thank you for all of those people putting in the comments in the chat. And we're definitely looking forward to listening. Leslie Flowers is here as well. And we want to have definitely an interactive show. So join us and have a conversation, because we like to have interactive conversations. The more interactive, the more fruitful those conversations always are. And we always start off with that laugh, that call, that text. In the last 7 days, what is that thing that made you laugh out loud, get on the phone and call somebody or text them? Dr. Farron, what is your laugh, your call, your text of the week?
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you today, I want to give a quick shout out to Annika. It's Annika's birthday today, my daughter. And so happy birthday to Annika. And we laughed today as a family. We went to this place called The Main Event. I don't know if you have that in your city, but it is really fun, really, really fun place. And we went bowling together as a family. And of course, we were laughing and having a good time together. So it was nice. It was a nice day.
I think definitely that is a great laugh code text to be able to spend time with your loved ones, especially your daughter, and share the birthday with her. So I love that laugh code text of the week for you. I believe my laugh code text of this week is definitely probably talking to my parents and having a conversation with them, checking in with them, and especially since we had like a snowstorm this week in New York City, so them being okay. That is my laugh, my code text.
Yeah.
I'm staying with your theme.
Yeah, it is, right? It's nice when you can have a good time with your family and stuff. Thank you, Charlie. I'll share the well wishes for the happy birthday to Annika. She's excited.
Have fun. Great to see you as well.
Have fun.
Yes.
Nice.
All right. So we definitely have a conversation with a lot of people can relate to out there. Those people, we did put some kind of questions inside the link when we were having the posting. And the first question is, do you make time to prioritize and plan? Managing the stress of a business is so important by prioritizing and planning. I know how we put the summit together. It's a lot of moving parts, a lot of pieces. We kind of do it. We have kind of a formula together, and it's a lot of prioritizing and planning and putting things in place. We just had a meeting a little while ago, and we were talking about what we are prioritizing and planning as well. So what are your thoughts on that, Dr. Fanny?
Yeah, and I think that, there is a stress to owning a business, right? There's a lot of pieces that you have to think about when you have that business. I mean, once the business is set up, there's a lot of deadlines and things that you have to meet. And so you do have to kind of carve moments out. Now, when Damien and I started collaborating together, Creative Living Ideas had been in business, 3 years maybe? So it was still a pretty young business. We were still trying to find our niche in niche in the world of where we really fit. And so I think we've done a good job of finding that space. And Damien and I spent a lot of time having lots of meetings, over and over again over things just to create our systems in place. And, now our systems are running very smoothly and we can move our efforts to other places. And so spending time prioritizing and planning, and we do that together, go through and talk about, what are our next things, short term, long term, down the road. What do we need to plan? What do we need to prioritize? What do we need to put on the back burner for now? These are ideas that might be simmering back in the back, but we've got to get this going first. So you definitely have to do that. Now, I'm going to share, you guys drop in some of your comments and tips, those of you. And if you have a business, would you do me a great pleasure and drop in your name of your business? We'd love to get you a little bit of, advertisement for it. So if you have a website that you'd like to drop in of your business, please drop it in there. A YouTube channel, something like that, drop it in there and everyone can kind of grab that information. But you really have to do a long-term look also and say, when am I going to do things right here, right now? One of the things recently, oh gosh, you guys, I'm getting all my tax paperwork put together for my companies. And so yesterday I told Damien, I said, I did accounting all day yesterday. I'm not an accountant. And so, I was getting papers put together for our CPA. So, there's a lot of pieces that you have to do. And so I really just carved Saturday out and really set up some boundaries and said, I'm not allowing anything to interrupt me right now because I have to do this right now. And so I did. I even canceled a breakfast with a girlfriend. So really going through and making some priorities and moving things around so that you can really schedule some things like that. I know that was kind of a long answer, but it's a big question.
I think owning a business is a long process, so it requires long answers.
It does.
So
it does, and I think, the planning piece, so the prioritizing, like I said, there's certain deadlines, right? Like you've got your tax deadlines that you've got to get in, your quarterly tax deadlines, your yearly tax deadlines that you have to do. So that's something. And then that planning piece also, so like Damien and I we were just sitting here talking about, we've got the virtual wellness experience in just a few weeks. The planning is done with that. For the most part, it's done. Here we go. It's go time. We've got the Work-Life Balance Summit in October. Damien said we've already got to start working on that. And we do. And that is, you have to be 6 months out for any big event like that you're planning. Absolutely.
I agree. And it definitely is a process. So working those processes together and putting together is so important.
Yeah.
And it alleviates a lot of stress when you kind of plan ahead and prioritize stuff, because you're going to think that you can do everything and everything is important, and it's not. You have to take things piece by piece, bit by bit, bite by bite, and take your time. Like, you can't eat everything in one sitting, and you can't accomplish everything in one sitting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I want to say hello to some other people that have popped into the audience and give some recognition to them. So Dr. Marcia, thank you so much for being here. And April, I appreciate you. Charlie Lewis, thank you for dropping in your emerging leadership acquisitions information, YouTube channel. Appreciate that so much. Meryl, thanks for joining us. It's great to see you from Northern New Jersey. And then John, when starting a business, how do you be fully present in the current priority, work or family? John, that's a really good question. And I think, for me, I'm fortunate in the fact that my family's involved in my businesses or have been involved in my businesses. And so that helps. And I would say really setting boundaries of when you talk about the business and when you talk about family stuff is something that I did. So my husband and I own a property business together. We've owned some construction companies in the past together. We've since then closed those, but you can't always have that conversation with your family about business. You've got to stop at some point in time, but it's also nice to have them together so that, you can bring them in. My daughters have helped me with my business of creative living ideas. And so they've been an intricate part of that, but that's not always what we want to talk about when we're together either. So thanks for that question. Damien, did you want to respond or ask and add anything to John's?
I think you were on point. Like, at some point, your family has to be a part of your process, your business, whether it's understanding the work-life balance of it, understanding that it's going to take some level of prioritizing getting it off the ground, or even if they're providing some support by putting the word out there. So I think it's so important for those aspects of it. But you're right, people don't want to keep talking shop every 5 minutes. So you got to have that balance.
Gotcha. And Gregory's got a great question in here too. What happens when you're starting something up in a group and the only way is communicating by way of email? How can you get that person that communicates by email to have personal boundaries of email communication? I have received emails from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. the next day, and I'm a volunteer. Oh, Gregory, this is a really great question of those boundaries. And this is how I would personally handle this. I would not answer them until it was time for me to be whatever your time is on the clock for your volunteering. So for example, I would just wait until maybe I don't check my emails till 9 o'clock in the morning the next day. That is just something that I do. Some people do work at odd hours of the evenings. That's just kind of their time. Some people are night owls. I'm not a night owl. And so, I set that as a boundary. I don't put my notifications of my emails on my phone either. In fact, I don't really have work emails, and I have a rule. I don't check any work emails after 6 p.m. So I always tell my staff, if you really need something, you can text me, but I don't check emails after 6 p.m. So those are just some personal boundaries, Gregory, that I've put into place. Maybe they will work for you. Do you have a response to that, Damien? You lead a lot of people and you've been in a lot of businesses.
Well, that's a good question that Gregory kind of brought up, and you kind of led to one of our questions when we were talking about setting clear boundaries for yourself. And it's important to set those clear boundaries for yourself. So you don't get overwhelmed. It can be overwhelming checking and following up and doing so much. Being present in the moment, like you said, having dinner with your family, it's sometimes it's so important to take those time out for you and your family and responding. Also being present and visible for your team and letting them know what they can do to help for you, what your support boundaries look like and what it doesn't. So I think those are important, and taking one day out of the week to kind of, take care of yourself and put time for yourself, whether it's a whole day, half day, or a few hours, putting that time in for yourself and setting those boundaries.
I love that. I love that. And Nick's kind of added in just now, I think we have to maintain our boundaries. I've stopped checking emails, LinkedIn DMs, and text messaging after a certain time. And you have to, or you're just kind of tied to that, and you cannot be tied to that. So absolutely. I'd like to know more about Charlie. I've become competitive with myself in order to stay prepared for the future. And you've created a brain trust with your family. What do you mean that you've been competitive with yourself? So if you want to explain that in the comments, that would be great. I love that. There was one other. I just want to say thank you for the late birthday wishes for myself, Dr. Marcia. I appreciate that. That was sweet of you. All right. Let's get into some other questions. Oh gosh. Have you started building a support system? Is one of the questions. So who do you have as a support system? Those of you that are out there, and this can be your business that you have created or a business that you work in. Who is a part of your support system, or have you started building one?
So I think I'll go first, and I want to kind of talk about it was who said that, Charlie, about competing against yourself.
Yes.
I kind of know what he said. I kind of think I know what he's talking about,
okay,
because I have the same thing. Like, you have this whole level of where people are trying to compete against other people.
Okay.
Like, they're trying to outdo other people. They don't want to help other people, and they see everybody as competition. When you're competing against yourself, you're motivating yourself to do other things.
Gotcha.
You're competing against the former you and pushing towards the future you. Like, every year I try to obtain overall wellness in all 5 areas, whether it's health, finance, mental stability, relational, and then overall, like, peace of mind. So I'm competing against 2025 me, and I have the whole 2026 to compete against that. So I think when he's talking about competing against yourself, it's that motivation against yourself to try to thrive and do better versus competing against other people. I always tell people, especially in trainings, that I'm not competing against anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I get to my threshold, my optimum, my career path, my journey at the time I get it. Other people get it at their time. Once you start competing with other people, you don't see all the roadblocks, the hurdles, the zero days when people are struggling. You just see the finished product, and everybody gets there at their different time and space. And my even when I'm going to talk about my quote for the day, it talks about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that, and that is true. Okay, that makes sense. So to me, thinking about some things like, when you're with that competition, you're thinking of what's your next goal going to be, the next things that you're going to do, your next challenges, the next way you're going to challenge yourself. I love that. Very nice. Very cool. I love that. Well, and building that support system is important. And, I have a variety of support systems. My family, obviously, they're a support to me, but I also have people like you, the people in our network that are support systems for me. We were just talking, we just had a network meeting on Saturday. We had Leadership in Lemonade. If you don't know anything about the 2350 network, reach out to Damien and I. But we just had this meeting, and, I always learn so much. And Damien and I talked at this meeting about how much we've learned from each other in just 3 years, and from other people in the network about how to run our business, or about programs, or about any type of financial planning with the business. I mean, there's so many components and pieces with business that you can learn about from other people. And so build that support system. Ask them, look at them, see what they're doing, ask them questions. Most people are happy to volunteer what they've done, what's been successful for them and what's been unsuccessful for them. And so I think that's, really important to do and build that support system. I love our network. I feel incredible incredibly supported by the people in our network and love having them and kind of picking their brain. It's so fun.
And then I love that you said that about a support system. There's no way you can do it by yourself.
No.
I don't care who you are. I don't care how skilled you are, how much resources you have. You cannot do it yourself. The whole point of having resources means that someone else is helping you.
Right.
So, and I love that we have this conversation. We're talking about a lot of things. Like we've changed a couple of things up with the virtual wellness experience because of our network and their feedback, their suggestions, and their support. You know, we have Leslie Flowers as a gold member vendor. She's a part of the network. She is supporting us. We cannot do it alone. You know, we have Dr. Mel, who is a vendor who's supporting, and we can't do it alone without Jackie's a vendor. We can't do it alone without Nick Kinga, Dr. Raheem Young, Dr. Schiller. There's so many people who pour, Brenda Lees, who pour into this network and give suggestions and ideas, and you cannot do it alone without help and support. And the biggest thing about supporting and creating a support system, you have to be open and willing to accept that help and support.
Yes, you do. You have to say, I'm not the expert in every single thing, You may be expert in one area of your field or even a partial expert, but I absolutely agree. You have to be open to receiving that information and digest it and process it and then take action on it, whether you actually modify what someone recommends to you or whether you don't do anything about it or you do exactly as they said. And I have learned so much from so many of the people in our network. My business has grown. I mean, it really has, just because of the people that we've met and that we collaborate with and get to know. So I love that. Do you guys have a question out there about, or who do you have as your support system? So those of you that have businesses, as you're listening, I've asked you to go ahead and drop in that business link. Feel free to do that. But who do you have as your support system?
And I think the word mentor is a key example of someone as a support system.
Sure.
Those people who pour into and champion your cause, and so many things that go into people giving out support. So thank you to those people joining us on LinkedIn. Thank you for those people joining us on YouTube. Continue to if those people on LinkedIn, you're joining us on LinkedIn, go to our YouTube page when you have time. Make sure you click the like button, subscribe. We want to build our new YouTube page, and we want to have that historic value and space where people could come join us and support us. So thank you for all your help as well. And speaking of support, you're a very, very big support system to me, especially with doing these summits. I think these workshops, the network, and I think it would be so nerve-wracking if I didn't have you. And we were talking about this. I did not have any plans on creating a professional development workshop. I had no plans on creating a network and a group. I had no plans of doing that. But we got together. We started something which you started on your own, and it started out of me supporting you, and it's turning into this, and it's growing. Every year we add something onto it.
Right.
And it's always a piece that's so important to it. And thank you, Christy, for all your support as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Christy. Yeah.
Christy's so vital and supportive, and with the network. So many people out there, Anya, Annika, Lexi, Sir Royce Borealis, Camille, Raheem. It's so many people.
It is.
Support the network. Portia, who've helped start the network and get it off the ground to where it's at. Deanna, Heidi, Linda, who's out there, who's a network member as well. Dr. Rowe. So it's so many support systems that go in place. And those people who are not part of the network, you're not a network member, please join us tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7 p.m., we have Friends and Family Night. Some people are like, I'm not part of the network. I don't know what that is. I can't relate to it. come relate to it with Friends and Family Night. Dr. Farron, can you do me a favor and put the link in the private chat so I can pull it and throw it into the
for the Friends and Family?
Yeah, Friends and Family Night, so people can come join us and support the network in a different way and come to our virtual campus.
Yeah.
And even if you've never come to the virtual campus, it's a great opportunity and space to come to, because that is how support happens. That is how networking happens. That is how we grow as people and individuals. And thank you, Kinga, for switching over to the YouTube page as well. Gregory, you will love the virtual space. So if you can join us. So
yeah, it's really great. It's so fun. You know, it is. And I don't know. I agree. You guys, when I started, this is so funny. I had a friend who wanted me to do a video, and I was petrified to do a video. And here I am doing lives on Sundays and Mondays. And I just absolutely love it. Like, it's been so fun to see the evolution. And I know we're going to get into a question like that, but yeah.
Can I show about the evolution and the start and support? Look at this picture.
Yeah.
That is what the start of support looks like.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Can you want to talk about that picture and the meaning behind it?
Yeah. So this is my Creative Living Ideas team. And we work on projects as we need to together, but I'm in the middle, obviously. On your left is Annika, my youngest daughter, and to your right is my oldest daughter, Lexi. And they both have been just integral in creating Creative Living Ideas. Below on my left, when you're looking at it left, is Maddie. She did all of our editing, line editing, all sorts of pieces like that. And then Kristen on the right, the blonde, she is a graphic designer. And so she designed my cover. She did all the layout. And together we're a creative team. And really, they started all of my social media. Like, they're the ones that were able to say, here's what you do. Here's how you do this. You need to post every day. You need to have a newsletter. You need to have this. You need to have that. And really had me dig in and learn so much. But this team, these ladies are incredible. Absolutely love them. And they all have their own careers also. So they're, all just very successful women, and have just done an amazing job. And we had such fun getting these pictures taken together, and they're just timeless. So we love that. All right. I'm still working on this event link here for you. I can't talk at the same time, you guys. And
no worries.
Do you want just the whole event link, or just for tomorrow night, how to get to it?
Sorry, tomorrow night's whole event link.
Okay, the whole event link. Okay.
So yeah, the thing about that is, people were like, the campus, like, oh.
That's the LinkedIn event. And then inside the event, I put the link in here. So tomorrow night, what we have is Friends and Family Night for those of you that are there. I can't wait. I know. Thank you, Coach Carrie Willis, for being in here today. I know we're excited to have you join us as well. And then you can do this one too as well, Damien. You guys, I can't type in this chat, so I apologize for the delay in our conversation. It always just goes to my YouTube page. I don't know why. So Damien can add to this comment section that you guys can be able to see this. There's a couple of choices for you that I've given him. All right. All right. So Deidre, you can just join with this link. Go ahead and sign up. And then tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we are meeting on a Go Brunch link. And you'll be able to see that and come join us. We've got some fun things planned for tomorrow night, and you can learn a little bit more about the network and what we do, the events that we have every month. You can meet some network members. And it's so fun because, it's a no pressure zone. I mean, it's just like, come if you can. Don't worry about it if you don't. I put you on calendar invites. I shoot out calendar invites to y'all all the time. There's definitely no pressure. So it's so fun. I hope that
and thank you, Christy, for doing that as well.
Thank you, Christy. That's
Yeah.
where we needed her.
And I think I have it here somewhere. The actual campus, but I'll reserve that for later on in the show. Real quick, can you go to the virtual wellness experience?
So if you're interested in tickets, there's a couple of ways you can get them. You can meet with myself, Damien. We can drop you a link for that. Or you can go to Creative Living Ideas website and go to the tab here that says Virtual Wellness Experience. Doesn't that look nice and calm? A nice virtual wellness experience. And then you can
2-day virtual event. Sorry.
It is a 2-day virtual event. Yes, it's March 20th and 21st, which is a Friday and a Saturday. And Damien and I each are presenting there as well. And then we've got other people in the audience that are joining us as a presenter. You can hear a little bit more about it in here. The tickets are $175 for a 2-day ticket, or you can purchase a 1-day ticket for $100 for when you can select the day that you want to come. And then you can learn a little bit of some testimonials. You can see that Leslie is a gold level sponsor for us, Leslie Flowers. So we greatly appreciate your support. And you can connect with Leslie through LinkedIn. Leslie does have 2 shows on Monday. She has Mind Over Matter Mondays. And on Fridays, she has, I've just lost the name of it in my brain. Think and Grow Rich Leadership Principles on Fridays. And I believe it is at 11 o'clock Eastern time, both
Yes.
11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning. So make sure that you catch those for Leslie. We would love for you to join her. She's always got great guests on there. I think Felipe was recently a guest on there. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yes, definitely so much good things that are going on. Join us at the Virtual Wellness Experience. The link is below. And reach out to us if you have any questions. Tomorrow we have, again, we have Friends and Family Night. You're our friends, our family. We want you to join and show up.
Yeah.
And speaking of show up, if you don't have health, thank you, Christy, for putting that in. If you don't have your health, your wellness, and your sanity, it's going to be very hard. So when you're trying to manage your stress of starting up a business, checkups and making sure that you have your health in order is so important. We kind of try to run so much, and we're like, I'll get to that later. I'll get to that next week. Next week becomes 2 weeks. 2 weeks become 2 months. 2 months become 2 quarters, and then pretty soon a year is going to pass, and you haven't taken care of your health and your wellness. So those things are so important, especially like we're talking about the virtual wellness experience. I get that. But we're talking about a lifestyle of wellness and health. And if you don't have health, I had a friend who always talks about this, you have nothing. Your health is everything, and it starts with that.
Correct. Absolutely. And so that's why it's critical, right? To do this, to come to these, to learn some more things about your health and wellness and ways that you can, improve them. So I want to just acknowledge a couple of things. So Deidre says that the link isn't opening for her. I believe you're talking about the Go Brunch link, and that won't open until tomorrow when it's time for the event. So, and then to answer, Gregory, the event tomorrow can just be audio if you want. You kind of pop into a space on Go Brunch. If you've been on Go Brunch, that's where the event is. And if you choose to turn your camera on, you can, but you don't have to. So let's get back into this question that you're just talking about. How are you looking after your health and wellness? So, some of the things when you're starting a business is trying not to let the stress of the business get to you. There can be moments where it is hard. When you're running a business, if you don't have any income coming in, you're still paying for the things that are going out. You're still paying for your website. You're still paying for StreamYard. You're still paying for any other site that you're using, and so that can be stressful for you. So how do you manage that stress and wellness and making sure that you're prioritizing your time? And I'm going to shout Nick out in this because I love Nick. I know we do the same thing sometimes, Nick. you get stuck behind that computer and you don't move. Just like she said, she set boundaries, she's cut things off. I've heard her say, I'm not coming to this network event. I haven't seen my husband all day. He's come home from work. We're having dinner. Like that's part of your health and wellness of stopping and saying, this boundary, I'm done. I'm getting up from the laptop. I'm going for a walk. I'm going outside for fresh air. You've really got to find a balance for that,
Yeah. And Nick could be like, bye, I got to go. My husband just came in. And we'd be like, we get it. We understand this. It's not really a problem. So we kind of respect it.
Yeah. So, it is true though. You have to find those balances so you don't stress yourself out. And there's always been people who have said, because you worry, I think a lot of times, like, I'm not there yet. I haven't got this accomplished yet. Or, I wanted to get so much more done today, everything in your own time. And I've had so many people say that to me, like there's divine timing and everything in your own time. What you got done today was exactly what you were supposed to get done today. Yes. Give yourself that peace and take that breath and say, oh, I got a lot accomplished today. I mean, yesterday when I was working on my taxes for CLI and Fair and Properties, I was not having a fun day doing that work. But guess what? I got a lot accomplished. And I like doing this kind of stuff more. The creative side, right, is so much more fun than doing the actual real business side of it.
So let me ask you a question. If you had the opportunity to delegate that, would you delegate it?
Yes.
Which goes into our next question.
Yes.
And the next thing to talk about managing stress, know when to delegate if you can. Like Dr. Farron talked about the stresses of doing it or, not wanting to do that. There are so many things that we are really good at, really skilled at, we're really okay at, and we're really just not that good at because we're not invested in it.
Yeah.
And being able to delegate when you have the opportunity is so important. Like someone talked about self-care, health and wellness and self-care in here. And delegating is a form of self-care. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to turn into, here we go. Importance of self-care and delegation is another skill and tool to work on managing stress when you're starting a new business.
Yeah. Layla, thanks for joining us tonight. It's nice to meet you. Appreciate you being here. But yeah, it is. And delegation is important. And so, division of tasks also is important. And Damien and I, our very first year together, we had to say, well, what do you want to do? You want to do this? Do you want me to do this? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? We're pretty much robotic now on who's doing what part of each thing. And it's very simple. It works out really, really well for us. And so in my opinion, that's a sense of delegation. Not one of us is doing more than the other. And I want to tell you this. I started my company myself. It's, I will tell you, I'm a sole proprietor of my own company. However, having a collaborative partner is awesome. Having my team of CLI team that you saw the picture of is amazing to have. So I encourage you. Someone asked me, what do you do? Someone asked up here a question. I think it was John might have said, what if someone's afraid to start their own business? Start it with a partner. Create an agreement together and start it with a partner and figure out what is the capital? What do you have to spend? What are you planning on spending? Who's getting paid what? And get a partner. And that will help some. Find someone that you connect well with, that you work well with.
I agree. So nice. Because there's certain things that are just like routine for you at this point and routine for me. So it helps because we delegate and divvy up the work in certain spaces and places. So and it also helps when we're doing these workshops where people can say, all right, this is where I go to Dr. Farron for, this is where I go to Damien for, and we're able to make sure we're on the same page and get certain things done. So I appreciate that as well. And then bringing that up for delegating and segue into that conversation because it's so important.
Yeah.
Because it kind of keeps the relationship going and keeps other relationships in place as well.
And some people have a hard time delegating. And so that's why a lot of people own their own company by themselves. Or they try to do everything themselves because they can't delegate. And it is important to learn how to delegate. You've got to remove the stress off. I know I was going through some other, it's tax season. So I'm going back to taxes, our personal things. And my husband just sat with me and we talked through some papers. And I was like, he kept saying like, I want to help you more. And then I was like, you're like, I just need this. And so sometimes you just need that person to just kind of being there with you while you're doing some things. And so I think that's important to do, when you're delegating and sharing. One person can't take it all on. It's hard. That's why most major companies have a board of directors. They have people in high-ranking positions, things like that. Yeah. Trust is hard to have sometimes. Charlie put that in there, but if you can find a person that you connect with. And so sometimes taking two people's businesses that are, maybe very similar and on the same path, collaborating together on some projects also, it can be helpful, so that you can share the love. Really, there's plenty out there for everybody. It doesn't have to be a hugely competitive space.
I think we do well at talked about a great partnership. I think a great partnership always helps with listening, being open to trying new things, and supportive disagreements. Now, supportive disagreements means this, that if you don't agree with the person, you still support them. Like, you can say your piece and keep it moving and try new things. It is okay, especially when you're starting a new business in the beginning. Don't get stressed out and lost in the whole, like, this ain't going to work, that ain't going to work, or whatever's not going to work. You have to try things in order for things to actually become successful. If you try nothing, you have nothing moving forward.
And we've tried some things that have been successful, and we've tried some things that have been unsuccessful. So, and I agree. I mean, Damien, we've never had an
argument,
a difference of opinion on the way something should go, right?
Yeah.
No, we have.
We haven't had an argument.
We haven't had an argument, but we've had a difference of opinion for sure. We're two different humans, and we do have discussions sometimes about where do we want things to go and how do we want them to roll, and we come to an agreement together, and that's always really nice in the end.
Yes.
Learn how to do that. And so it's important to do that.
And I think it's really about keeping an open mind and, just relaxing and taking time for yourself and getting things done. So.
Well, and I think we're both decision makers. And so this is when you're talking about partnering or collaborating with something. Perfectly said, Stephen. We have a different way we might want to do something, but we take time to listen to each other, to hear the other sides. And usually what we're saying is somewhat relatively the same. And then we come to a great page. And so, finding people that also have kind of that same vibe as you is helpful. Want the same end result when you're partnering is helpful also. So where do you rate, as we're talking about all these things that help us manage our stress, Damien, where do you rate mindfulness and relaxation? Or how do you rate it?
We want scale 1 to 10, 100. I think it's 10 million. I think it's high ranking because you have to be in a space where you're like mentally ready to start. In that you have to manage so many things that are going on that you can't even foresee. So, and I think it's so important to say, you know what, I know when go time is, I know when to slow down, and I know when to stop.
Yeah.
For my own sanity.
Yeah. Yeah. I
What's
think
yours?
that's true. I think that's true. I think, mindful and relaxation is a top priority, I would say. And a lot of people say things to me like, "Oh my gosh, you're always busy. You're always doing a show. I'm really not. Y'all think that I am, but I'm really not." I balance my days to where Sunday, Monday are the big ones, my big days. And the rest of the week is kind of trickles through and I've got time to do other things. But it's super important to rate that mindfulness and be mindful of how much have I sat in this chair? How much have I looked at a screen? How much have I not talked to the people outside of this doorway? And then my own personal relaxation. Do you feel guilty in the audience? Do you feel guilty because you just maybe relaxed all day? You need that. You need to recharge your battery. You need to rest. You need to take time away from your business and talk to other people about other things also. And I think it's really huge for us to do. And even relaxation. I know Fawn's got, Fawn dropped off her YouTube channel. Check it out. She's got great mindfulness activities. She's got great interviews with people on there, and really spending time, relaxing and in meditation and in mindfulness is really important to do for your whole total body.
Agreed. It's good that you brought up Fawn, who has a lot of stuff on meditation and relaxation. Brenda Leese as well is another person.
Yeah.
And, I will always remember Virtual Wellness experience with Tina talked about Restful Reset. I know I bring it up, but it's so true.
It's stuck with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stuck with you. And so that was Restful Reset was a presentation a couple of years ago that one of our presenters did. And it really stuck with Damien. And, it's kind of sometimes when you come here, you get like permission. When you come to the virtual wellness experience, all of a sudden you get permission to do something just for me or focus on my wellness a certain way. So nice. Layla asks, what do you do for your self-care? So me personally, a lot of things. I do a lot. I love golf season is coming up. Guess what I put in my calendar every Wednesday night, y'all? You won't see me on Wednesdays. That's my golf night with my ladies. I love it. I go out, I hit the course, I laugh, I have some fun. Have a glass of wine at the end. It's lovely. It's a wonderful evening. I absolutely love it. And that is my Wednesdays. That is something I do. I also enjoy doing like guided meditations from YouTube, as well as doing yoga, lifting weights, going for a walk, spending time with my family and friends, doing crafts. I love all of that stuff. Those are a lot of the things that I enjoy to do. How about you, Damien? What are some of your self-care faves?
Those people out there, please drop in your own favorite self-care tips as well. So it's not exclusive to myself and Dr. Farron as well. So my self-care thing is I have certain shows that I watch, and I watch them, and I like doing that. Going for long walks, real long 2-mile walks is my thing. So those are good self-care things. Drinking water. I don't eat beef, pork, or chicken. So those are things for like self-care, and also taking time and spending time with loved ones. It's so important for me as well. So some of the things that I do for self-care. And then the last thing I do is I have meetings with myself. I don't like to take stress out, on myself. There's so many things that are going on in life that are so important that not getting lost in things that are not that serious is a big thing for me, and it even goes back to the 2350 mantra, not letting 5 or 10 minutes of a bad moment disrupt the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of your day. I don't like to let situations consume me. I don't want to be stressed out and overly thinking about things that I can manage by, either moving on, having a processing, problem solving with myself, or having a conversation with somebody and moving on, and having those conversations with people who you do have stressors with kind of alleviates the stress a lot.
Thank you
Hope
for
that
sharing
helps.
those things. No, those were great, great things. I love that every time you say it, I'm like, I love when you say that. You have meetings with yourself and doing self check-ins. I love that. And going just back to our main topic of how to manage the stress of starting a business. A lot of us have day jobs. And so our business is maybe our love or our passion. And so while we can see that as a hobby, we still have to step away from it, is something that I want to say, and, doing that with, love and determination, but saying, I need to step away from this now, take a break, and your brain refreshes. You're going to come back with fresh ideas. You're going to, yes, Meryl. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're going to walk away and come back with so much more energy, when you step away for the things that you're doing. I'm glad to hear that, Nicole. Awesome. Yes, Jay. Perfect. Compartmentalize. Yes. Think outside the box. I love that, Jay. Creating different boxes. Yes, sometimes we have to do that, right? That's
so it's funny you said that. Like, it's starting to come full circle, thinking about like the meetings with myself. Even my topic when I'm talking about the virtual wellness experience is the power of self-reflection.
Yeah.
Having meetings with yourself is about self-reflecting. Sometimes we think that we're the heroes of our own stories and we're the villains of someone else's story. And having self-reflection is so important. And my topic is self-reflection, reading the room. The lost art of reading the room. We get lost in the fact that we don't live on this planet by ourselves. There's so many things going on, and we might think that what we're doing is beneficial for us, and it is, but it's detrimental to other people. So that's why I said it's so important to have those meetings with ourselves to be able to process that stuff, get it out of our system, and get it all out and just move on. Moving on is so important.
It is. You're right. Moving on is huge. Absolutely. And, that's kind of like putting things on the back burner. I'll give you guys just a small example. I was hosting some also parenting journey is what we called them, some events, and they were great. And Damien joined me, Dr. Sheila joined me, Ira joined us, and we had a great few sessions, but it was just too much. And while we loved it, I had to put it on the back burner for now. Like, there was just too much going on with starting the network and with starting these other events. Now starting to feel like I can get some steam going and maybe potentially add some of these things in down the road, so it's okay. I put that in a different compartment. I'm going to use that, Jay. Thank you so much for saying that. Yes. And Jocelyn, thank you for joining us. It is, creative ideas come from calm minds. And, a lot of times I step outside, like just physically go outside and walk around, take some deep breaths. And it's amazing, like I'll come back and go, I know what I want to do now, so that's awesome. All right. A couple of things also, you can't plan for everything. So how do you accept uncertainty? So those of you in the audience, you can't plan for everything. How do you accept uncertainty? And so that is kind of a struggle when you're starting a business, especially because you don't know. There's so many things that you don't know. There's still things that I don't know to today, but go out and try. And something may pop up that you didn't realize or you didn't know how to. So for example, like you had a live event, your guest canceled. How are you going to do that? How are you going to handle that? You have a podcast, your guest canceled. What's your next step? These are things that happen in uncertain times. Your internet goes out at home. How do you handle that? And I'm saying that because we're very virtual. Most people who have small businesses really run their businesses on TikTok or their YouTube channel. They're monetizing from things like that. Also using technology across the country, across the world to connect with other people. And so really sitting there and thinking of those things that are uncertain and not knowing how to handle them They're going to happen. They're bound to happen. You know, you forgot to submit this document. You forgot to do this for your business license. You know, ask some people, talk to some people. You need to change the name. You need to change the ownership. You need to change the type of business that you opened. There's a lot of different pieces there to look at. Damien, what do you do when, you know, you can't plan for everything? So how do you accept that uncertainty?
Self-talk. It is. I use a lot of things like it is what it is. You know, life is bigger than me, and things happen, and this is a learning experience. So those are some of the things that I actually use for self-talk. And then I always try to take a step back and see it from, you know, the other space.
Those are great tips. Those mantras are important for sure. You know, it is what it is. This too shall pass. That is something that I use often as well. You know, this moment's going to pass. And, you know, you're going to have peaks and valleys in your business. You're going to have times where you're super busy. You're going to have times where you're not. How do you handle and manage those different pieces of the time?
And there's always somebody in a bad moment or a stressful moment who will always want to trade places with you.
Yes, exactly. And that brings me to a perfect celebrate the small wins.
Yes.
Celebrating small wins. You know, a lot of times we think that our business isn't where we want it to be yet, you know, and Damien and I have long-term goals for our businesses. But people can oftentimes get down in the dumps about it. But I always tell people, take a look in that rearview mirror for a minute and see where you came from. How far have you come? How many people that wanted to start a business didn't start a business, and you already have your business? So you have 2 clients instead of 10. You had 0 2 months ago. You have 2 clients now. Celebrate small wins. Celebrate those things that are going really, really well for you. And it's okay to do different things. You know, I relaunched my book. When I wrote my first book, well, the second book I wrote was Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, a Parent's Manual. I really didn't know how to launch it. I didn't really have a network of people to launch it to. Last May, I relaunched it. It's okay. We can do things like that. What are ways that you celebrate those small wins, Damien?
So I have to kind of preface this. I had someone come to me one day and was like, "You can find positive out of anything," and it was like you can find a positive out of this situation here, and I was like, "Yeah, I can." It was like, "How can you do that?" And I was like, "Every negative situation has something positive out of it. The attempt is the positive result, because that person or individual could have been afraid to even decide to even put themselves out there to make that mistake, and they did it. I can try to work and fix or support or help guide somebody who has made a mistake. I can't help, fix, support, or guide someone who isn't even trying to make the mistake, because I don't know where the help at or support, or just be like, you know what? We can just sit in this and I can listen to you. Like, a lot of times you don't have to say anything or do anything to help support somebody and celebrate a victory with them. The victory sometimes is people don't feel comfortable talking to you or saying things to you because they don't want to feel judged. So I always try to celebrate the small victories, the difficult conversations, you know, putting yourself out there, you know, the learning, the processing, because life is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love all of the advice in the audience. Thank you so much, Leslie Flowers. Every down will have a matching up. We just don't know when. When there's a low, immediately look up. I love that. Meryl, every time I hear celebrating the dynamic duo of Leslie Neidick and Melissa Cohen, immediately come to the top of my mind. Thank you for that. And practicing gratitude. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Practicing gratitude is so important for your mindset and for your stress relief.
And those people out there, let me see if I can get the video to show you what one of the campus size looks like. So, because I know a lot of people have uncertainty, especially with the clicking the link. The link will open tomorrow.
Yes.
When it's time, the doors are closed. It's like going into a building. The building doors are closed. So look at it from that space, and it won't open to them the same way you have any other link or Zoom link. So let me see if I have the one. Yeah, here it is. So this is what the virtual campus, one of the 2350 virtual campus looks like. You will be in the Friends and Family campus, which looks a little bit different from this. But this is kind of what the campus looks like. So Gregory, I know you had questions about the campus and stuff and what the links will look like. And it will just be something like that where you can just go in and you can go into the space. I'm kind of glad I did have this. So
yeah, that's perfect.
All right. So let me know if you have any questions about that.
Yeah, come join us tomorrow night. There's no, literally just come hang out and learn more about the 2350 network and the things that we do.
Speaking of things that we do, we always do something at the end of the show. It's
closing with a quote. I love it. Well, I'm going to go to my old trusty since we're talking about starting a business, and there's a lot of people out there that dropped in business links that are doing amazing things that are effective for people around the world. And so my favorite quote that I really try to live by is be the change you wish to see in this world. So those of you that are putting things out there to make the world a better place, thank you so much for doing that. I greatly appreciate it. And come join us for either the network event or the virtual wellness experience.
And to get tickets to the virtual wellness experience, click the link below. And also, we love to see you at Friends and Family Night. Those people who planning all the Friends and Family Night, send me a message and then send me a direct message so I can make sure you have the link privately so I can send it to you as well so you can have it in your private link. My quote is, I told Dr. Farron about this yesterday. We had Leadership in Lemonade, and we were talking at a teacher in middle school who wore 2 watches, and he talked about time. And he said, and it always stuck with me where he said that time is constant and it keeps moving. So you have to keep moving as well. So when you're thinking about professional development, you're thinking about growth, you're thinking about starting your business, thinking in terms of time. Time keeps moving, so you have to keep moving as well.
I love that. So true. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Thank you for being here in our audience, for participating. Continue to have this conversation here. Totally fine. We'll pop in some answers in here for you. Reach out to myself or Damien if you have any questions about any of the things that we talked about tonight. I hope you have an amazing week, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And we'll definitely be back next week. And next week is Meet the Presenter Week. So we will be on at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with all presenters for the Virtual Wellness Experience. And with that said, we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.